Life or death.
People were trying to get over the barricades and trying to get to fresh air.
Security was not helping at all. People were trying to get out.
And I was like, I can't breathe. I don't know where anyone's at. Can you help? People are dying in there.
8 people confirmed dead at Astroworld, the youngest just 14 years old.
I reported that people were getting stepped on.
Houston native Travis Scott stopping the concert several times.
We need somebody to help him. Somebody passed out right here.
I straight up thought I was gonna die.
We were listening to music, and then all of a sudden, next thing I remember, I woke up somewhere else, and they said I had a seizure.
And reports now emerge that at least one person may have been intentionally drugged.
And he felt a prick in his neck, and he went unconscious. This is now a criminal investigation that's going to involve our homicide division as well as narcotics.
They're trying to be like,
Be held accountable for it.
yeah, like they're saying it's like, oh, like the survival of the fittest. Like, if will you get out alive and stuff like that. But like, that's not how a concert should be.
An unthinkable tragedy at Astroworld. 8 people who just wanted to enjoy a night of music and fun will never go home to their families again. Hello again, everyone. I'm Tom Abrams. 7 of the victims range in age from 14 to 27, and we've learned one of them was John Hilgert, a 9th grader at Memorial High School. Tonight, one of the biggest questions, who will be held accountable? We saw the warning signs yesterday. Before the event even started, people were hurt in this stampede at the front gate as fans overpowered security there. And we actually saw a similar scene at the last Astroworld in 2019. 3 people were hurt then, and in response to that, city officials say they beefed up security yesterday. We are told nearly 1,300 security guards were on duty, including HPD officers and a private force hired by Live Nation, the promoter. Houston Police Chief Troy Finner says this is now a criminal investigation involving both homicide and narcotics investigators. ABC 13 reporter Roxy Bustamante joins us live with what exactly is being investigated. Roxy, you were there as this happened last night.
Yes, Tom, I was, and it honestly, there's no words for it. And one of the images that keeps coming into the front of my mind is that as EMS teams were trying to make their way through, they were driving in golf carts and had flashing lights. They could not make their way through the crowd to get to those who had already collapsed or being trampled on. But when they finally did bring some people back to the medical tent, there was one young man who, Tom, you know, I see death regularly on this business and in this job that we do. This young man was dead, not responsive. They were doing CPR, jumping on him to do CPR. They had another medical staff team check him, still was not responsive. Then they took him away. And it's heartbreaking to think that 8 people, like you said, went to a concert and they will never make it back home. Now here, Houston police told us that they're waiting for video from the organizers to see just exactly when and how this crowd got out of control. But many people are asking, why wasn't it stopped before all this?
You could feel the pushing. It was, like I said, it was like a ripple effect. It was like a wave. You were just going forward and backward and forward and backward and like side to side. It was just everywhere, everything.
Concert goers describing what it was like as the crowd at Travis Scott's Astroworld Festival started to get out of control Friday night.
I got trampled on the way out. Like everybody was just stampeding and stuff, and then like people were just falling and stuff, passing out, and I was just like, nah, I gotta go, bro. It's not safe. I'm getting hurt and stuff. I told my friends I'm going, bro. I had to go home.
Michael from San Antonio is one of the many who were injured. Officials say 25 people were taken to the hospital, including a 10-year-old, and 8 people died.
We are talking with individuals who have been hospitalized to try to get a much better understanding of what took place, what went wrong, where were the missteps. Certainly, HPD and other law enforcement organizations will be looking at as much of the video footage as possible.
Houston Police Chief Troy Finner says this is now a criminal investigation. It was around 9:30 p.m. when the first calls were made about people collapsing near the front of the main stage.
Folks are coming out of the crowd complaining of difficulty breathing, crushing type injuries.
Seems like the crowd is compressing, from what I could tell.
You could see the private EMS team struggling to get through the crowd as the concert was still going on. Chief Finner claims the event was shut down 40 minutes later, but for some, it was too late.
What I know so far is that Live Nation and Astroworld put together plans for this event, a security plan, a site plan, that they were at the table with City of Houston and Harris County, with City of Houston agencies and with Harris County's NRG Park. And so perhaps the plans were inadequate, perhaps the plans were good, but they weren't followed. Perhaps it was something else entirely. The families of those who died and everybody affected deserve answers as to what took place last night.
Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo says back in 2019, there was a barricade breach situation at this event and security measures were stepped up. Officials confirmed that there were hundreds of officers and private security inside and outside of the event. EMS teams had plenty of Narcan and administered several to concert goers. At some point during the event, someone allegedly injected an unknown substance into the neck of a security officer.
According to the medical staff that was out and treated him last night, that he was reaching over to restrain or grab a citizen, and he felt a prick in his neck. When he was examined, he went unconscious. They administered Narcan. He was revived, and the medical staff did notice a prick that was similar to a prick that you would get if somebody's trying to inject.
In addition to the criminal investigation, Hidalgo says she will be launching an objective, independent investigation in hopes of preventing another tragedy like this from happening again.
But I also want to call out to the community, kids and young individuals that was out there. If you've seen something, say something. This is now a criminal investigation.
Roxy Bustamante, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Now, some concert goers rushed to help other fans who were in trouble, and ABC 13's Adam Winkler tonight caught up with a young man who had just learned CPR, and he put it to good use. Adam joins us live.
Good evening, Tom. The sign over my left shoulder, Astroworld canceled. That certainly says it all, but it does not tell the entire story. Michael Bishop, who attended Ridge Point High School, was raised about 5 miles from where Travis Scott grew up. Michael tells us last night was the 6th time that he's seen Travis Scott in concert. It was obviously unlike anything he's experienced before.
Missouri City native Michael Bishop became CPR certified last summer to work at a local church camp. He never thought he'd have to use it while attending the Astroworld Festival.
And we just started pulling out bodies after bodies after bodies.
Bishop, an 18-year-old student at the University of Oklahoma, flew in to attend the festival in his hometown. But during the first few songs of Travis Scott's set, he says security guards began asking if anyone in his area was CPR certified.
I was able to resuscitate 2 people from unconsciousness. Not sure if they were dying, not sure if they were passed out, but they're alive now. I hope. I'm not sure if they're in the hospital or if they sustained any injuries. And then there were a lot that weren't so lucky.
Michael says he won't be surprised if the death toll goes up.
About 10 people in our area that when the medics got there, they started to proclaim deaths.
As he heads back to school Sunday, Michael says he'll do so with one overwhelming emotion.
I just feel lucky. I feel lucky, A, that I was there to help those people, B, that I was able to walk out unharmed. I've got a few bruises here and there, but that's nothing compared to what some people walked away with. Some people walked away without their lives.
And some who survived are lucky Michael, adept with CPR training, attended Friday's festival.
During our chat, I asked Michael if he was able to get any sleep last night, and he said no, but he was grateful that he had a bed rather than a hospital bed, or as he said, a deathbed. Pretty impressive 18-year-old. I'm Adam Winkler, live near NRG Park. Tom, we'll send it back to you.
Adam, thank you for that report tonight. Incredible story. Well, as thousands of people trampled on top of each other, many of them unconscious or injured, we've learned concertgoers stuck in the middle of that chaos also tried to help one another. And ABC 13's Brooke Taylor is live at NRG Stadium tonight with more on what witnesses said about what happened and about who they're blaming. Brooke?
Tom, first off, all of this unfolding right behind me near this stage over this fence We've been outside here all day long, and hundreds of people really from across the country coming to pay their respects, and people are still out here right now, really just complete strangers coming together. They tell me they find comfort right now in talking with each other about this shared traumatic experience.
Stop this show!
Pure chaos erupted. Thousands trampling on top of each other as concert goers tried to step in to save people who were on the ground lifeless.
I was pulling this girl out, and like her lips were purple.
Elisha Moore says the rowdy crowd at Travis Scott's Astroworld Festival got out of control when the Houston native took the stage around 9 o'clock.
I was like, bro, get me out. I can't breathe.
That's set up.
Moore and his friends having trouble breathing in the tight quarters they were pushed into while trying to help others. He had to crowd surf to get to the young girl who he says looked dehydrated, struggling for air.
Okay, as soon as I pulled her out, I was looking at her chest, but her chest wasn't moving, so I checked her pulse.
This is my blood.
Billy Nasser still has blood on his shirt from getting shoved and pushed.
And I had this kid, I was holding on to him, and I checked his pulse, nothing. His eyes were rolled to the back of his head. I looked around, I saw about 6 other kids with the same issue, and I realized I couldn't help. There was nothing I could do.
Helplessness felt across the crowd. One young man even captured storming the stage to get the popular rapper to stop the concert. Andrew Diaz and his friends say it's not Travis Scott's fault, but instead placing the blame on security and poorly set up barricades.
Security was not helping at all. People were trying to get out, actually trying to jump over the gate so they can get out for safety because there was another barricade.
People were trying to get over the barricades and trying to get to fresh air because they were just trying to live. And security was telling everybody to get back. But these people, they didn't want to get back because they're just trying to get out. Security's telling them to step back, causing more of the trampling.
And Live Nation and Travis Scott both putting out statements expressing their condolences and saying that they are going to do everything they can to work with local authorities. Really still so many unanswered questions like how these 8 people died. Live at NRG, I'm Brooke Taylor, ABC 13 Eyewitness News. Instagram saying in part, quote, Travis and I are broken and devastated. My thoughts and prayers are with all those who lost their lives, were injured or affected in any way by yesterday's events. She also goes on to say that the couple was not aware of any deaths until the news came out after the show. She says that they would not have continued filming if they had known about the tragedy.
First song that he performed, they realized they needed to get out. They needed to leave the Astroworld Festival. They say for as many people as wanted to get out of this packed, tight crowd, even more wanted to push their way to the front of the stage and get as close as they possibly could. This evening, they recalled for us the vivid looks of terror on so many faces. The friends tell us they consider themselves survivors.
They ruined Astrofest or Astroworld Fest. The first time it was something like, I mean, you go and you just have nothing but fun time, like fun stories to tell. And I mean, this time you like barely make it out alive.
In the photo, 19-year-old Kaya Reedus and 20-year-old Zachary Scott took prior to Astroworld yesterday. They're smiling. Today, the friends were very subdued, traumatized, as they said.
This time at Astroworld, it was totally different. It was just like a concert from hell.
The way they described the scene at NRG Park Friday night is enough to rattle someone who wasn't even there. Unable to breathe, piles of people on the ground, some clawing on their clothes as a lifeline, trying to get up so they weren't trampled, pressed so close to strangers that you couldn't lift your arms or turn your head. They were trapped and helpless.
Two hands to the sky.
I was literally praying and I was like, please get me out of here. Like, this is not how I want to go, please.
The friends say things escalated when Travis Scott took the stage and people pushed their way to the front. Both Reedus and Scott were rescued by strangers. They tried to get help for other people who were passed out, being stepped on, but the show continued. Scott lost a lot of respect for the musician who he was a big fan of prior to last night.
And you know, people are blaming it on, like, they're saying, oh, well, like, these people are all on drugs. Like, I was stone cold sober the whole time and I could not get out of there.
Even after seeing the images of the concert, if you weren't there, Scott and Rita say it's tough to fully comprehend the vulnerable situation that thousands of people found themselves in.
That's not how a concert should be. Like, you shouldn't have to be like, oh, okay, I have to fight like either life or death to get out of this. And you might see a few dead bodies, but that's just a part of the experience.
At NRG Park, Micah Hatfield, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
To the ones that was lost last night, we're actually working right now to identify the families so we can help assist them through this tough time. You know, my fans really mean the world to me, and I always just really want to leave them with a positive experience. And anytime I can make out, you know, anything that's going on, I stop the show and, help them get the help they need, I could just never imagine the severity of the situation. We've been working closely with everyone to just try to get to the bottom of this. The City of Houston, HPD, Fire Department, everyone to help us figure this out. So if you have any information, please just contact your local authorities. Everybody continue to just keep your prayers. I mean, I'm honestly just devastated, and I could never imagine anything like this just happening. And I'm gonna do everything I can to keep you guys updated and just keep you guys informed on what's going on. Love you.